As competition in modern Formula One continues to intensify, attention across the paddock is no longer focused solely on aerodynamics or power units. Over recent seasons, a team's ability to process vast amounts of data within seconds has become a decisive competitive advantage, and Aston Martin has now offered a rare insight into how artificial intelligence is reshaping race strategy behind the scenes. Aston Martin Aramco has revealed that artificial intelligence, AI, has become an integral part of its strategic decision-making process, particularly when engineers must evaluate millions of possible scenarios during a race weekend. The explanation came from the team's Chief Innovation Officer, Fabrizio Pilotti, during the AMR Network Technology Forum. According to Pilotti, a single Formula One weekend generates around 50 petabytes of data from hundreds of sensors on the car, track information, weather conditions, simulation models, and team radio communications. AI is used to filter this enormous stream of information, enabling engineers to identify patterns that would be impossible for humans to process quickly enough during a race. Pilotti cited Lewis Hamilton's three-stop strategy in Barcelona as an example of how AI can recommend approaches that initially appear unconventional compared to traditional race planning. He explained that such strategies emerge from algorithms evaluating multiple variables simultaneously rather than relying on straightforward human calculations. I see this as a clear reflection of where Formula One is heading. AI is not replacing race strategists. Instead, it dramatically accelerates the analysis process, allowing teams to base critical decisions on a far broader range of information than was possible only a few years ago. Across the paddock, the ability to interpret data rapidly has become almost as valuable as outright car performance. Eric Ernst, Aston Martin's commercial technology ambassador, added that a Formula One car constantly changes throughout a race. Fuel consumption reduces the car's weight lap after lap, while tyre characteristics, vehicle balance, and braking points continuously evolve. Machine learning helps engineers understand these changes in real time, allowing strategy recommendations to be updated as conditions develop. From my perspective, Ernst's explanation highlights that the greatest challenge is no longer collecting data, but understanding the relationships between constantly changing variables. That is precisely where AI provides its greatest value. Even so, experienced engineers remain essential because they must determine whether an AI recommendation is appropriate given the broader race context, including the possibility of a safety car, changing weather, or evolving track conditions. Pilotti also revealed that Aston Martin possesses historical datasets stretching back several decades. Those archives are used to train machine learning models capable of recognizing patterns that may reappear under similar circumstances. Alongside machine learning, the team is increasingly exploring generative AI to assist with software development and engineering workflows. What stands out to me is that Aston Martin does not portray AI as a replacement for engineers. On the contrary, the more sophisticated the technology becomes, the more valuable experienced engineers are in interpreting its recommendations. The prevailing view around the paddock is that the most competitive teams will not necessarily be those with the most advanced algorithms, but those capable of combining digital simulation with sound human judgment. That philosophy was reinforced by Ernst through the concept of human in the loop. He emphasized that all key decisions ultimately remain the responsibility of people. Pilotti even pointed to Adrian Newey's continued preference for using a traditional drawing board during the early stages of car design, before the work moves into advanced digital simulations powered by sophisticated algorithms. To me, this philosophy represents a broader trend within Formula One. Throughout the sport's history, every major technological breakthrough, from CFD simulations to modern wind tunnels and driver simulators, has prompted concerns that technology would diminish the human element. In reality, the opposite has happened. Technology expands analytical capability, but experience and engineering judgment remain decisive when critical decisions must be made under pressure. In the short term, AI is likely to improve Aston Martin's ability to react more efficiently during complex race situations. However, it cannot solve the team's current on-track performance limitations by itself. AI may identify the optimal strategy for a given scenario, but it cannot compensate for deficiencies in aerodynamic performance or replace the need for continuous car development. Looking further ahead, I believe Aston Martin's approach reflects the direction Formula One as a whole is taking. The competitive battle is no longer fought exclusively on the circuit or inside the factory. It increasingly extends into high-performance computing centers capable of processing billions of data points throughout a season. The impression across the paddock is that mastering AI will become an increasingly important competitive advantage under Formula One's future regulations, even though success will ultimately continue to depend on car performance, engineering expertise, and flawless execution during a Grand Prix weekend.